cost.
I believe in you, Elsa, more than anyone or anything.
Quick question. Is the whole putting us in mortal danger gonna be a regular thing?
Disney's Frozen 2. I love the first Frozen, but Frozen 2, of the two so far, if they do decide to make a third one, is my personal favorite of the two of the Frozen movies. It takes the characters that we know from the first one, takes them out into the unknown, of course. It had a good story. You get to know more about Elsa and her powers. You get some more great development with Anna. You get more time with her and Kristoff as he wants to marry her. Olaf's still pretty funny. I didn't like the fact that there wasn't a villain in this movie, but on rewatches, which boosts us up to a 5 out of 5 on my letterbox, I ended up dealing with the fact that there was no villain. But the standout scene in this movie, Show Yourself, that got snubbed at this year's Academy Awards. But at least it got a Kids' Choice Award. That and Descendants 3 for Dove Cameron and her fallen co-star, Cameron Boyce. Everything about Frozen 2 works. And if you were one of those people who were disappointed with Frozen 2 or didn't care about the first Frozen, yeah, I'm sorry. But Frozen 2, Elsa is one of the best Disney characters and one of the best animated characters we've ever had.
Ghostbusters, starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis. Coming to save the world. Ghostbusters.
We came, we saw, we kicked it.
It's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Yup. Ghostbusters. 1984 Ghostbusters. Not the crappy 2016 man-bashing bullshit. The OG Ghostbusters with Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Sigourney Weaver, and Ernie Hudson, and Rick Moranis, and Annie Potts. The OG Ghostbusters. Fun 1980s fun. Great story. Great chemistry between the four guys. It never once had to say that the Ghostbusters team is our guys, which is what I appreciate. And it wasn't feminism nonsense. I even love Ghostbusters 2. I'm probably one of the few people who actually loves Ghostbusters 2. I can't wait for Ghostbusters Afterlife because it's going to do a Ghostbusters 2016 in reverse. Where instead we're getting a sequel to that piece of crap, we're going to get a sequel to the true Ghostbusters with Paul Rudd. Yes. Would have been this year, but because, again, pandemic, it's March of 2021.
Trying to kill you is in the room right now.
Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself! Come on!
Surprise.
The Invisible Man. Yep, this is the only 2020 movie I am going to end up including on this list, but The Invisible Man, I was curious about this movie, but I didn't know how good this was going to be. And surprisingly enough, The Invisible Man was good. It had a great story about a woman played by Elizabeth Moss going through the horror aftermaths of abuse while still being a 100% scary film that has something to say. It wasn't just jump scare galore or cheap kill after cheap kill. And this is where the Dark Universe should have started. When you don't let Tom Cruise do whatever he wants to do, when you call Blumhouse, you get good results with this. Now, I can't wait to see what the future of this Invisible Man series will hold, because they are talking about doing a sequel. If I see a sequel, I know it's going to be as good. And Lee Winnell will probably come back to direct it.
And you better hope nothing happens to me. Because if I die, you die. I know you've been out. Is this what you're looking for? Eventually, you'll come to accept the idea of being here.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it. Annie, for God's...
Shh, darling. Trust me.
God's sake!
It's for the best. God, I love you.
Misery. Holy crap. Oh my God. This movie. One of the best Stephen King movies I've ever seen. And for a damn good reason. Kathy Bates deserved that Oscar, and she won it. Annie Wilkes is one of the most craziest, screwed up characters I've ever seen. James Caan is great as Paul Sheldon. Great direction and writing by Robert Reiner and William Goldman. And the performances are well done. And this movie is the Hobgoblin scene. Good Lord, the Hobgoblin scene is, that's some brutal crap. And that fight at the end between Kathy Bates and James Caan is so epitastic. Going back-to-back horror here. The Exorcist. The original Exorcist. Whoa! For the longest time, I did not see this movie. I didn't even see the original Exorcist. I started with The Exorcist at the beginning, way back in the early 2000s. And I saw this one back in 2013. On AMC Fear Fest, and this movie from beginning to end, even though it was edited a little bit with the profanity, The Exorcist was still one of the best movies I've ever seen. And there is a reason why this movie. This is probably the only scary movie to ever get some Oscar love. In fact, this is because besides Silence of the Lambs, Linda Blair as Reagan and the stuff that she says when she's possessed, that was creepy. William Friedkin's great direction, the late Max von Sydow, everything about The Exorcist is creepy. You can't watch this movie and say it's not scary. Even though I've heard some people say it ain't scary, it's impossible to do. When I watch a movie like this, I want to get freaking scared. I haven't seen the director's cut, but I've heard the director's cut is even more scarier. But it's only 2 hours shorter, longer. But this is how you do horror. Back-to-back horror with The Invisible Man, Misery, and The Exorcist. Woo! That is awesome for me to do in this 100 favorites.
James T. Kirk was a great man, but that was another life.
They're locking torpedoes. Emergency evasive!
Fire everything!
Star Trek. You heard me. 2009 Star Trek. The movie that got me into the Star Trek craze. Remember when big movie premiere was a thing on TV Guide Network? And they would talk about movies like this. I remember. J.J. Abrams, without him, I would not be a fan of the Star Trek series. So, you can hate on J.J. Abrams all you want, people. Respect him for what he did for Star Trek and what he did for Star Wars with The Force Awakens. If only the sequel trilogy was just one person directing with a plan, and with the plan that George Lucas had for the 7, 8, and 9 movies. And if it was just him directing, I think they would have been much better for those who are disappointed with them. The Star Trek is a great prequel. It's a very much needed reboot we needed. I don't give a shit about the lens flares, okay? I can deal with the lens flares. A great cast too. Chris Pine, John Cho, Dredd himself, Carl Urban, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Simon Pegg, Bruce Greenwood, Winona Ryder. Still good looking though, Winona Ryder is. But yeah. Star Trek, definitely one of my favorites. And is my favorite Star Trek movie. The Shining. I know Stephen King hates this movie, but The Shining is a great movie. One of the best Stephen King adaptations. I do prefer Dr. Sleep over this, but I can't help but respect the classics. The funny part is that my mother and myself, my mom bought this movie back two months ago, back in May, and we showed it to my older sister, my 21-year-old sister, and she didn't like it because of the fake blood. I can understand why she doesn't like it, but The Shining, this is one of the best Jack Nicholson performances. If it wasn't for him and for all this movie went through, I don't think this movie would have worked. So I gotta give big props to Stanley Kubrick for The Shining. Stephen King, I understand you don't like the movie, but The Shining is simply a classic, a great horror masterpiece in its own right. Now we're into the top 50. It's number 50. We have, of course, y'all know I was gonna do it. You know I was gonna put this movie on this list, and that movie is
Anyway to your wild heart.
Have you ever been in love?
I think so.
These last few years, it's almost like I can feel you holding your breath.
I'm supposed to be the one that decides when and where and who knows. That's supposed to be my thing.
Disclaimer. This is about to get romantic as F.
You're not into Abby, are you? She's cute, but she's just not really my type. Not because she's black. I love black women. Not like, you know, I have a thing for black women. I just love all women.
Love, Simon. I gotta get this one out of the way before my battery dies, but Love, Simon is definitely one of the best coming-of-age movies I've ever seen. And it took a lot of balls that a studio like 20th Century Fox, which I still choose to call them, they had the balls to take a movie like this that has an openly gay romance and release it. Love, Simon definitely, and it had a good message that you don't have, that it's okay for you to be gay, okay? To all the LGBTQ people watching out there, you deserve a movie like this. Nick Robinson, Catherine Langford, 13 Reasons Why, Knives Out, the upcoming Cursed. Whoa! Alexandra Shipp, Jorge Lindenborg Jr., Josh Duhamel, and Jennifer Garner as the parents. A great script, a great direction, a great soundtrack and orchestral score. Love, Simon is everything I could have wanted from a movie like this. I do like Love, Victor, but Love, Simon is absolutely great. Love, Simon. I have nothing more to say about Love, Simon. I reviewed it on the channel, but Love, Simon is definitely one of the best coming-of-age movies of the last decade. It definitely feels like a John Hughes film. Need to get that on deep Blu-ray DVD compact soon at some point. Continuing my 100 favorites in number 49.
It's all part of the plan. Come on, hit me! Let's put a smile on that face.
We have another Christopher Nolan movie. That is The Dark Knight. 2008. The year of Nolan in the MCU. The birth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which you're going to see an MCU movie on here in just as I count down, because we're getting close to it. The Dark Knight. 12 years this movie has been out. Coming July 18th. Which by the time this is uploaded, it'll already pass. So, The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie for me. It is one of my favorite superhero movies. Definitely my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, and one of the best crime dramas I've seen. Some people can call it overrated all they want, but I think this movie is a masterpiece. Heath Ledger, rest in peace, Heath Ledger. He was great Joker, and not many people knows this, but all 4 Joker actors in live action has won Oscars, and the one they give the most backlash to is Jared Leto. But not just wanted to point that out. Kristen Bell, Michael Caine, Maggie Gyllenhaal. The way they recreated Harvey Two-Face, even though he's not in it very much. The interrogation scene is definitely my favorite part of the movie. And the sequences that are shot with IMAX cameras look really good, especially that opening scene. Remember seeing all the marketing, all the behind the scenes stuff on big movie premiere back when TV Guide was a thing. The Dark Knight. Dark Knight. Number 48.
I feel really good.
Holy Christ.
Why are you doing me?
Overlord.
Overlord. Of course, this is the 2018 movie. My favorite zombie movie ever. It should have been seen by a lot more people in the theaters when it came out. J.J. Abrams, he did produce it, but he didn't direct it. Julius Avery did a great job directing. I love the zombie effects, practical effects. The idea that this is a zombie movie that takes place during the Second World War. Jovan Apito as our lead. The main villain, he's a good villain. You love to hate him. Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. Nice introduction to Mathilde Olivier, who I hope to see in more films. And she was a pretty strong female character, despite what happens to her. But it's just... Overlord is a fun time. Number 47.
Just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. We got some horror classes on here, and I'm not gonna shy away from it. Leatherface, great villain, great story. The way this movie is filmed and presented, this will give you the most claustrophobic, the most scariest, the most pretty intense feelings while you watch this. Rest in peace, Toby Hooper, which we also lost last decade. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you gave us a great horror icon in Leatherface. who is now on the verge of being rebooted, or yet again, why? Don't get me wrong, I love the first one, I like the third one, I love the 2003 remake, I love the prequel, and I have a soft spot for Leatherface. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, and to a certain degree, Texas Chainsaw 3D, you can go. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre is classic. You can't get no better than the 74 OG. Okay? Number 46. Casino Royale. My favorite of the James Bond movies, and my favorite of the Daniel Craig era James Bond movies. And of course, it was going to be my favorite because this was the James Bond movie that got me into 007. And Austin Powers drew inspiration from James Bond. A well-respected reboot that respects its source material while taking it in a direction that the James Bond character would go. Daniel Craig stole the show. He is my favorite James Bond, right next to Sean Connery. Eva Green, one of the best Bond girls, is Vesper Lynn. You can't go wrong with Eva Green. Le Chiffre, Mads Mikkelsen's great. You have a great theme song, You Know My Name, which is my favorite Bond theme song. Everything about Casino Royale was great. And I can't wait for No Time to Die in November. It would have been more, because instead of April, it is November. But at least he's back in his time frame. Even though he's going to be going up against Black Widow. But he'll be fine. Number 45.
12. Friday, the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday, the 13th.
Friday the 13th. 1980 Friday the 13th, I should say. Some people can call it a ripoff of Halloween all you want, but Friday the 13th is one of the best movies in the 1980s. Pamela Voorhees, the fact that you don't see Jason in this movie, and that is the mom going around killing everybody, is what makes Friday the 13th a fun movie. And you have introductions of very young Kevin Bacon. A nice score by Harry Manfredini. I love the setting, Camp Crystal Lake. The Jason sound effect can scare you, but it did a good job of scaring you. And it works. And this would later become a franchise where I pretty much like all of the Friday the 13th movies except for Friday the 13th Part 5. But even the one I don't like, just like with Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, I don't like that movie either in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I still watch them because I am a completionist. But Friday the 13th, classic horror film. Number 44, we have the Back to the Future trilogy. I was gonna just put one Back to the Future movie, but I said no. It's the 35th anniversary of Back to the Future, and I wanted to put all 3 movies on here because all 3 of these Back to the Future movies are classics. The first one is awesome. It's a great start to the trilogy. Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover. Back to the Future is fun. Very quotable, nice special effects. The DeLorean is really fun. The sequels, a lot of people don't like Back to the Future 2 or 3. I do. Back to the Future Part 2 is my favorite because it takes place in the year 2015. And 2015 is not like it was not like it was presented in this movie, but you have the hoverboards, you have the Jaws 3D, you have the cool shoes. In Back to the Future 3, I like the Western timeline that they go to. So all 3 of these movies are perfect in my eyes. Number 43.
Yes! Woo!
I like the way you die, boy.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
What's your name?
Django. The D is set.
Quentin Tarantino with Django Unchained. It took me until 2017 to watch this. For 2 reasons. One, because I wanted to wait a little while. 2, because of the usage of a certain word. Yeah. But the story outweighed that. The action outweighed all that. Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kerry Washington, Christoph Waltz, Samuel L. Jackson. They all outweighed all that. And Quentin Tarantino's writing and directing outweighed that. 2 hours and 46 minutes, and it goes by pretty quick. And Django Unchained is an awesome movie. And I'm glad I watched it back in 2017. Number 42.
From the inside.
That's the best you can do!
You had to ask.
Pretty sure this is obvious by now if you know me in my history with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. I like all the other MCU movies, but this is my favorite one because, of course, it's fun. It was just as good as the first one. I don't think it was worthy of all the hate that it got. Yes, Ultron is not super dark. He does make some jokes, but I didn't mind it about him. You save the darkness for the big dark villain for your last movie, and that's what Infinity War and Avengers Endgame did. Great introduction to Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver. I can live with the way he went out. Still a great sequel. It is definitely the most underrated of the MCU movies, right next to Guardians 2 and Captain Marvel. And number 41.
Steven Spielberg presents the 20th anniversary of E.T. the Extra Terrestrial.
I'll be right.
Spielberg coming right at you once again with E.T. the Extraterrestrial. E.T. the Extraterrestrial is a great film from 1982. Spielberg directed a very phenomenal film. A great friendship between E.T. and Elliot. E.T. phone home. The end of this movie, when he leaves, it will have you tearing up, and you have a young Drew Barrymore. And the shot of E.T. and Elliot riding up in the air, the bike up in the air and onto the moon. That has become one of the most iconic shots. And it's actually the Amblin logo. So, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Not much more to say on it than that. Number 40.
Did you want to say something?
Live Free or Die Hard. This is the fourth Die Hard movie, by the way. Yes, it was PG-13, but if you watch the underrated cut, it doesn't really make a difference, because Live Free or Die Hard, it is my favorite Die Hard movie in the series. I like all five of them. Bruce Willis, still John McClane. This was back when Bruce Willis still cared. Justin Long, Timothy Olyphant as the villain, Maggie Q as the other villain. Lynn Wiseman directed this one. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, fun action, some good humor. Pretty intense story, especially with the stuff that is presented here in this movie. Live Free or Die Hard. I ain't got too much more to say, so go watch it. Number 39.
論ずることもわらべのことくなりしが、人となりてはわらべのことを捨てたり。
Ghost in the Shell, 1995. Ghost in the Shell. One of the many influences on the Matrix trilogy. Very nice cyberpunk, sci-fi, and Japanese anime. That's really well told, very well directed, very well voice acted. Very interesting characters and concepts that I have fun with. The action. And I do like the 2017 live action one with Scarlett Johansson, but I do like this one better. But I ain't taking nothing away from the 2017 film. Number 38.
Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins Friday, June 12th.
Predator. 1987 Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Handshake, Shane Black, Bill Duke, Carl Weathers. The original is where it's at. The very first one in the series, the Predator coming to Earth, killing people, takes people's skin, and then hangs you upside down. And the Predator himself, the definition of a fun horror icon. Also a sci-fi icon too. When him and Arnold Schwarzenegger have that whole throwdown at the end, you gotta love that. Get to the chopper. Predator 2, I hated at first, but I gained a lot more respect for it after rewatching it. And I love Predators, which is my favorite. AVP 1 I like, and the Predator I still get some enjoyment out of. Or AVPR. But yeah, Predator is a classic in its own right. Number 37.
Apes! Together! Strong!
War, it's not what you want. There must be another way.
War has already begun.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Saw this when I got the DVD, and now I have the digital, and I watch special features. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is my favorite of the Caesar era trilogy, and my favorite of the Planet of the Apes franchise. Matt Reeves coming in and creating the Empire Strikes Back of this Planet of the Apes Caesar trilogy. Koba was a very great villain. Caesar was amazing. Why does the Indie Circus keep getting pushed aside and not getting any Academy Award nominations for voice acting or motion capture? The world may never know. But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is awesome. Number 35. We have some Akira Kurosawa going on here, and that is Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai, it's in black and white, of course. It is Japanese, and it is a long movie. 3 hours, 3.5 3 hours and 20 something minutes. But Seven Samurai, I don't feel nothing. The character development is nice. The character Kurosawa's writing direction is great. And you got great use of character development and great moments going on for you. Yeah. Like I said, it is a long one, but of course, Seven Samurai is a good movie. I ain't got too much more to say on it, and so I review it at some point. Number 35.
You gotta say I love you back.
Dad, are you serious?
I want to hear it.
You want to hear me say it?
I love you, Dad.
You're dropping me off out of school?
I love you, Dad.
Look at this place.
Dad, I love you.
Dad, I love you.
That's a copy.
Time to swing, just like I taught you.
When did you teach me that?
I didn't. It's a little joke for team building.
Hey, guys.
Okay, who are you?
I'm Gwen Stacy.
Come on. How many more spider people are there?
Save us a Comic-Con.
What's coming?
Let's go!
Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. This dethroned Spider-Man 3 for my favorite Spider-Man movie ever. Spider-Man 3 is now number 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was a nice welcoming surprise. I thought this was gonna suck from the teaser trailer. Then when more trailers coming out, and when I found out the cast and I found out who was gonna be producing it, I got hyped. Miles Morales, Shamik Moore, I have a lot of respect for Miles Morales. I love his costume. Haley Steinfeld is Gwen Stacy. She was my favorite part of the movie too, besides him, Peter B. Parker, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, all these Spider-Men connecting with each other and talking to each other. And the fact that they make it look like a comic book is great. The soundtrack is really awesome. I love the soundtrack. I can't wait for the sequel in 2022 because I can't wait to see more of the Spider-Verse and Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy in an interracial relationship. It's not woke. So screw that noise. And if they do this in live action, I'd be down for it. So yeah. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Great film. Masterpiece. One of the best movies of the last decade. Number 34.
My children.
Make them remember what fear tastes like!
Now, evil versus evil.
Somebody wake me up!
Freddy versus Jason. Rated R.
Freddy versus Jason. My favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie and one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. This crossover is over the top. It gets bloody a lot, but I love it. Freddy vs. Jason was my introductory movie towards Freddy and Jason. In this movie, it took me a while, and my mom, a while to get my sister to finally watch this film. But she got over it, and she loves Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund bringing all he does. He is Freddy Krueger, Ken Kersinger, my introductory Jason actor, Kelly Rowland in her first movie, Monica Keena, Jason Ritter, Catherine Isabel, great rock soundtrack. The characters are not the greatest, and the plot is, of course, is as simple as you can get with teenagers, but it's awesome and it's fun. Number 33.
Focus, Jack!
You still don't get it, do you, Jack?
Speed. The only one that matters. Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper. Tension filled like crazy, and it does exactly what it needs to do with that tension filled epictasticness. And this is one of my favorite Keanu Reeves movies. For sure. Awesome film and Speed. Definitely one of the best action films. So, Speed at number 33. Respect. Another 2018 release on here. Number 32 is
Why are you so happy all the time?
What?
Stop smiling.
What do you mean?
Stop smiling. Stop smiling.
I'm not.
I can offer you a life more magic than any mushroom ever picked. It's all there for us in our heads. The secret to a perfect existence.
Let's never go out there.
the party's just beginning. Come on, are you serious? Yeah. Karen Gillan, in her directorial debut, very amazing actress, underrated, and she's pretty. One of the prettiest redheads I've seen. She wrote, directed, and starred in this great drama about a woman who is spiraling out of control after the loss of her friend, and she's trying to save herself from going down the same path as her friend. And this movie is great. If you have not seen The Party's Just Beginning, go to Hulu and find this movie. This movie is amazing and insanely underrated. This should have been seen or heard of by a lot more people. And I can't wait to see what Karen Gillan does next in acting, but also directing. So, yeah, I can't wait. Number 31.
For the whole world. Steve Martin signing off from Tokyo, Japan.
Godzilla. I know it's Godzilla, but I want to respect the 1954 classic and call it Godzilla. the one that started the entire Godzilla kaiju monster craziness. And it is awesome. It is awesome. It is fun. It's pretty dark, but this is when Godzilla was bad. Nowadays, he's on the good guy side. You can't really go any more further explaining this movie. So, Godzilla, great film. Number 30.
Everybody needs a little Shrek.
Shrek?
Shrek.
Shrek?
They got a big one.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
Shrek.
I just know before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy. Look at my eye twitching.
Shrek. Shrek is a amazing animated film from the early 2000s. One of DreamWorks' best films. I rewatched this movie uncontrollably, religiously as a kid. Now I still do. Eddie Murphy is Donkey, Mike Myers as Shrek, Cameron Diaz as Fiona, John Lithgow as Lord Farquaad, Duloc, the one that started it all. Mad respects. Mad respects. Yeah, mad respects. Number 29.
Bad for a little furball.
Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi. For some people, this could be the last one. For me, it's the last one in the original trilogy. Because I am a supporter of 7 through 9. So, again, sorry, sequel trilogy backlashers. Star Wars Return of the Jedi is great. And this is my favorite of the original trilogy. The Ewoks, that whole confrontation between the father and son, the Emperor, Jabba the Hutt, Princess Leia in the slave outfit, that was pretty cool. Han Solo, it all comes to a head in this movie. And it is awesome. Number 28.
Ooh, a big doggy.
20th Century Fox presents
Hey guys, it's the Sandlot baby.
You're the ones that making all that racket. A lifetime of adventure.
Come on, Squid, you can do it. Pull through, bud. You little pervert.
The Sandlot.
The Sandlot. The Sandlot is one of my favorite films of the 1990s, and it is definitely one of the best movies ever. This is a fun baseball movie about a group of kids having fun in summer of the 60s. A lot of great memorable lines. Scotty Smalls, of course, a very likable character. Marley Shelton as the lifeguard. You gotta love Squints. He's funny. The Sandlot is fun. It's a great movie. Number 27.
I've watched a lot of people die. Friends.
We've been given a second chance.
Guide us. Lead us.
I don't want your future! We were supposed to protect them!
You're afraid. I remember.
X-Men, Days of Future Past. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this as the theatrical edition or the Rogue Cut edition. I might just bite the bullet and go with the Rogue Cut edition. This is definitely one of the best X-Men movies. A great film that takes the first class trilogy actors and the original trilogy of actors and makes it coherent, it makes it cohesive, and the story is really faithful to the source material while making some changes. Wow, it is great. Even in the Rogue Cut, when Rogue comes in, it's awesome. We did get X-Men Apocalypse and Logan, which X-Men Apocalypse and Logan I consider to be the last two good X-Men movies. Because after those two, yeah, you know what's next. Even though I didn't hate that one. But X-Men Days of Future Past, wonderful, wonderful film. Number 26.
Unlike other classics, West Side Story grows younger.
Back-to-back Fox movies. 4 for 4. West Side Story. The original West Side Story. Saw this movie back during sophomore year in my theater arts class back at SHS. I got to play Officer Krupke, and it was awesome. West Side Story is definitely one of the best musicals you'll ever see, and one of the best movies of the 1960s. Natalie Wood. It's a long movie, but great story, great romance, very well respected choreography and songs. I can't wait to see the Steven Spielberg edition, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure it's gonna be great. But as for now, OG West Side Story